Hi, this is Harish here. Welcome to DB2LUW Tips and Tricks video tutorial part 161. In this tutorial, the tip that I wanted to share is how to configure software Raid0 array for testing out DB2 IO parallelism. The scripts that I'm using, the data files that I'm using are available for free download at db2luwacademy.blogspot.com. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/db2luwacademy. So this slide talks about the problem scenario and the steps. So the scenario is we want to configure a software RAID0 array for IO parallelism. If you want to understand about the DB2 IO parallelism, and for example, you can have the DB2 load command, have the load data in DB2 with the disk parallelism option, and you want to kind of figure out, like, for example, one hard disk is at 1 Mbps, another hard disk is at 1 Mbps. If I put together, I should get in the RAID0 because of the parallel writing, I should get 2 Mbps. So if you want to do some kind of testing like that and understand the IO parallelism, so that is the focus of this tutorial. But before getting into this, what I'll do is I'll start a load activity so that it's going to take 4 minutes. So I have connected to the database. I've created the buffer pool. I've created the table space TB data, which is using this particular path, and this is like a single container, and this is not a RAID array path. Okay, so this is like that. So let us create the table. So that's the first one. So I'll copy that and I'll create the table. Okay, so let me go here and oops, oh, what happened? Okay, I had to say, like, right click, copy and paste it. Okay, the table got created. So now I'll have to load the data. So this is typical. There is no disk parallelism that I'm mentioning here because it's a single disk kind of a scenario. Okay, so I'll just run the load activity. So once I run the load activity, you should be able to see, like, for example, list utility show detail. Yeah, the load has started, and SDB1 is the data disk in which the load activity is running, and you can see it's not going beyond 1 Mbps. So let's go through this again. Okay, so let's go back to the slide. So this is where if you're using a VM particularly, see, not everybody are having access to the RAID array or a physical RAID array kind of a structure, kind of a hardware. So if you're using virtual machines, and particularly if you're using the VirtualBox, Oracle VirtualBox software, so you have this ability or feature wherein you can do some kind of a speed limit on your hard disk. So I can always attach a hard disk to the VirtualBox. So HDD1 with 1 Mbps speed, HDD2 with 1 Mbps speed. I can configure a RAID using the Linux MD ADM command and create a software RAID array. And if the parallel writing is happening, so we can expect the throughput to be 2 Mbps. So the steps are, like, you can use the vbox manage command to limit the hard disk and configure the RAID0 using the mdadm command and run the load data. Okay, so that's the simple steps if you look at the steps. Let's go and find out some examples here. Okay, I don't know how do we come out of this. It's not coming out. Okay, I don't know about that. I'll just go here. How do we come out? Oh, okay, oops. Where is it? Okay, I have closed that. So let me, so you can see that, see, the hard disk is like 960 Mbps, and the data load is still happening, and I'll just stop it as of now. So let the load get completed. Okay, and let us look at the steps actually. Okay, so what I have done in terms of, so I go to the CD VirtualBox and I use this command to create a limit. So this is like a name. Okay, so this limit will limit to 1 Mbps, and this RAID1 is again 1 Mbps, this RAID2 is again 1 Mbps, and I have configured, like, I'm attaching the storage, and this is the alma1.vdi, which is falling under 1 Mbps, and this alma2, it's a virtual disk, it is also falling under RAID1, and alma3 is also falling under RAID2. So what happens is, if this device, which is connected to the SATA port drive, right, so if that is going to have like so that will have only 1 Mbps of speed, so the data transfer will be in terms of 1 Mbps, and these two will, if they are connected into a RAID array, right, so this will have like a 2 Mbps of throughput. So I'm mounting the this thing. So this mount point is RAID stripe and this mount point is media db2. So this is a single container mount point. This is a single container but multi-disk mount point RAID array, like RAID0 array. Okay, and I'm creating the table space, I'm creating the table, I'm dropping the table, I'm creating the table, I'm loading the data. Okay, and the same thing is what is going to happen here also, but this time I'll be using a single container, but this is like 2 disk, so I have to say like disk parallelism as 2 here. And how do I create this MDADM? Okay, let's go back and see whether it completed. Oh, it's still running. Okay, let's see the list utilities. Okay, it's going to almost complete. So let's look at our SDB speeds. It will not cross 1 Mbps, so because we have throttled it. So the SDB1 we have throttled it. So you will have to basically partition the F disk after attaching this thing. After attaching it to the virtual machine, you have to partition, and you have to select the partition type as what do you call, like select the partition type as so 3 minutes and 52 seconds. So you have to select the partition type as FD RAID, or I think Linux auto detect FD RAID or something like that. Okay, so 3 minutes and 52 seconds is what it took for a single container, without any parallelism, like not a RAID array kind of a stuff. So now I'm going to create the table in the RAID disk, which is the RAID0 scenario. So I'll copy that, and I'll run that. I'll create the table, and then I have to load the same data. This time I have to say like parallelism 2, disk parallelism 2, because it's like that's how it is. Okay, so when I do that, so you'll see that the list utility is starting up. So I'm expecting 2 minutes, and you can also see that in the see, for example, this MD0, your throughput should be 2 Mbps exactly. So it's like, because 1 Mbps for one disk, 1 Mbps for the other disk, put together on the RAID array, I get 2 Mbps. And you can also see the IO stat independently also, like for example SDC1 and SDD1, like that you can see, and you'll see that 941 1 Mbps, right? So 941 KB is 1 Mbps put together, so that's how it will be. And it should fairly complete. See, the earlier thing was 3 minutes and 52 seconds, which is like roughly 4 minutes we can take. So this should be like 2 minutes. That's the load time that we are expecting because of the disk parallelism. So it should cut down by 50%. Okay, so that is what. So how do I do that? Thing is, you have to add the hard disk. So for example, you have to add the hard disk, and you have to create a partition. And once you create a partition like SDB1, SDA1, you have to select the partition type as Linux RAID auto detect or something like that. So maybe I'll create a video after this, but this is the MDADM command which I used to create the this one. And you have to change your disk numbers. Obviously the alphabets will be different, SDB, SDC, SDA, like that, based on that. And you create the file system, you make the directory and mount that particular directory. The same thing, this is for RAID 0, whereas for this media db2 data, I did not do anything like that. I just created a partition SDB1, and I just created the file system on the partition, and it is like a normal XFS file system, and I just did the same. Okay, so mounted it. So if you look at your VirtualBox setting also, you can see those entries actually. So you can see this limit, okay, in the virtual machine, and you can also see that this this hard disk belongs to this limit, which means this hard disk can have 1 Mbps, this hard disk can have 1 Mbps, this hard disk can have 1 Mbps. So this is the VirtualBox configuration file. Okay, this is the command. Let's see, see 1 minute 57 seconds. So 2 minutes is what we were expecting, and it is in line with the parallelism that we are trying to implement. 2 minutes. The earlier one should be like 4 minutes, which is like 3 minutes and 52 seconds is, we can say, approximately. It's not going to be like, this is not going to be like a very pinpoint kind of a number. There will be plus or minus a few seconds, okay, which is acceptable. But it really does half of the time. 1 minute and 57 is 2 minutes, 3 minutes and 52 4 minutes. And the more data you add, you'll definitely see, like I have even run this like a 30 minutes and 15 minutes. You can see that if you see here, I am loading like few records, right, like so many thousand. You can see like, I don't know, it's 3,000 I don't know what is this, 3 million or whatever. So if you load 10 million records, if you load 50 GB, you will see significant difference. So that is the idea, and this is what I wanted to show you in this video tutorial. And see you in the next video tutorial. Subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/db2luw academy. Until then, bye bye.